This is the actuator from 2014 Ford Focus, from 12 up to 18. As you can see, it won't come down. So what happened is there's little bearings in here, and not enough grease in there, the dust build up and they make it stick, right? See, it won't move, right? Can't get to move it all. I gotta move it a little bit right there. Cool. So, but if I go, so you see it wouldn't move. But if I take some brake cleaner and spray down in here and clean the dust out, you're gonna see it start moving down on its own, right? Because it's the dust that's building up in there, right? So it's the dust that build up in there. If too much dust builds, the bearings get stuck. So you gotta put some brake clean there, clean it out. So we got a brake clean there and clean it out. Now you can try to do this with one hand, but see I can move it a little bit better now. So the more you clean it out, the more you'll be able to move it. And you just keep working it back and forth till the bearings they loosen up. Now you could do this. I got a transmission apart, but you could probably try to do this in the car. I'm gonna show you what it look like in the car without pulling the transmission. But I just want to show you out the car. So see, I'm moving a little bit. So I'm gonna spray some more WD-40 in here and loosen it up. Well, not WD-40, brake cleaner, and loosen it up. You can use WD-40 too, but we're gonna spray some more and loosen. See, it's starting to get even more loose. See? So should be moving a little bit easier once I spray that in there. So you clean it out with that, but it's gonna get more you move it, the more it loosen up. And then you just take some white lithium grease after you clean everything out of it and spray in there. So if you notice now it's moving on its own without me pushing it. I can push it up, then it'll loosen up on its own. So what you could do, after you clean it out good with some brake cleaner, get the dust out and spray some white lithium grease in there. So shake it up, or you can use WD-40, but I say use lithium grease because it's grease that's on the packing and bearings. Put some of this down there, kind of work it back and forth, build the grease back up in it. And that's why these get stick, it's just the dust. Try to do this with one hand. See if I can show you. It free up a whole lot more when you do that. I know I gotta hold it steady. But it's just the more you clean it out, the looser it gets. Clean all the dust out of it. But yeah. So now the transmission is still in the car. This is the actuator right here. So if you was try to get your brake cleaner nozzle right in there and blow it out, get it cleaned out in there real good. And if you got some compressed air, then you could blow it out even better. But get your brake cleaner right in there, clean that out in there good, and then followed by some grease. It's gonna be hard to get the grease going, but just put the nozzle as further under you can. Try and squeeze it past the rubber. This is a rubber seal. Try and pass the rubber seal and try and put as much grease in there as possible. And that way it'll lube those little tiny bearings back up in there. Cause them little tiny bearings just be locked up with no grease on it. And then that'll loosen up enough if you don't want to pull the transmission out. Now, I don't know how long it's gonna work for. It'd be best to pull the transmission and clean them, or replace them. But if you can't afford that, it's a pretty easy way for you to just pull the actuator solenoids out and you'll be able to see it. Use some brake clean it out, and then go behind that and just put some white lithium grease down in there. And I'm gonna show you what it look like inside of it with the one I got out. So this is what they look like apart. As you can see, there's some little ball bearings down in there. And if you don't got enough grease in there, they'll get stick. See the shaft right there? So if there's no grease and it's just dust, it's not gonna travel good on there. So that's pretty much the main problem with these things. They get dust build up in there and those bearings and get enough grease. So if you just get some white lithium grease down in there, okay, see, all the bearings don't fill out this one because they locked up in there. So but yeah. If you get a tool like this, or try a screwdriver, a big one that'll fit in there and not strip out, then you could turn it. As long as it's turned and spring back, then you'll be able to go in there and re-lube it and clean it out. But if it's locked all the way, it's a possibility the bearing's already out. So there's a couple of different things I've seen go bad with these, from the bearings inside there to to this ring being worn out and eat away at the actuator arm. That go to the pressure plate. In this case, you have to pull the transmission out, but that means it won't go in the gear at all then if this ring is worn out. But if you're just getting that, P07a3, it's a good possibility these are sticking and they just need cleaning out. So like I said, you can try some brake clean. Use brake clean, blow off up in there, brake clean first, and then try and get some white lithium grease in the can and stick that nozzle as far up in behind the rubber boot as possible. Use the rubber boot in there when you take it out, and then just put as much grease in there. And what that'll do, I'll add some grease to the ball bearings that's in there and make it travel a lot easier, and then that code will go away. 2012 to 2018 Focus with that transmission in it.